Hi, everyone. Professor Sackett-Taylor here. We just wrapped up week 1 and we're looking forward on to week 2. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of a review. It looks like many of you are right on track with the course grade goal that you set for yourself. So you should receive some kudos from me in an email, just kind of trying to encourage you to keep meeting those deadlines, keep staying accountable to yourself, and keep up the good work. Some of you, fell a little short this week on the assignments that you said you wanted to complete. So just remember those deadlines are there to help pace you. So try to get those week 1 assignments in as soon as possible. And I'll be sending reminders, throughout to try to keep you on track. I just wanted to comment a little bit about the in the news reflections and some of the great questions that came up in your study guides. This week we were looking at money demand and money supply, and we saw in the theoretical side of things how there's really this very delicate balancing act between making sure that an economy is active, that people are spending money. But when we promote more economic activity, often through stimulus type policy, it's always inevitably over time going to lead to inflationary pressure. So there's always this kind of balancing act of, we want more economic activity, but that raises inflation. When inflation gets too high, we've got to stamp out some economic activity, but we don't want to throw the economy into a recession. There's a very small bandwidth of stability there that we're always kind of oscillating around. You'll see in the news as you follow, right now we are in a high inflationary period, and the Fed is raising interest rates to try to get people to save more, spend less, right? We're looking at trying to slow down the number of loans going out. And you're going to see this week 2, in chapter 3 on the market for loanable funds, and in chapter 4 that goes into more detail on these interest rates, how powerful these interest rate policy changes can be. Even a small little, as we're turning that knob, turning the dial 0.25 even at a time, how these policies really do impact the aggregate, the economy as a whole, in a very powerful way. So many of you were able to make connections to our current situation. Many of you drew on the fact that we were staring down a possible recession during the pandemic when a lot of businesses had to shut down, and there were a number of stimulus initiatives that tried to keep us out of recession, but has inevitably led to some of the inflation that we are experiencing today. I don't think we'll ever get to zero inflation, right? If the long-term economic goal is growth, then we're always going to see some level of inflation, but we want it to be a healthy level of inflation. And we want to be able to account for inflation in terms of people's wages and maintaining purchasing power over time. So we're going to talk a little bit more about purchasing power this week in terms of interest rates and the value of our money. But I just really wanted to say that I was very impressed with many of you, the questions that you brought up, the connections to our current situation that came through in your news reflections. So please keep up the great work. And I just want to remind you that I'm here to help you. Email is the fastest way to get to me. You can always make a Zoom check-in at any time if you just want to talk through some things, but I look forward to reading what you come up with in the second week of the course. And time is flying, so make sure you're sticking to those deadlines the best you can, because we don't want it to snowball in the end. So until next time, see you later.